All right, so hopefully your buffer's working. Now we're going to deal with the next little bug in line. So why is the cat all the way down here? And why isn't it moving? Or why does it jump up more than anything else when we move it? So let's deal with the jumping up real quick. First thing, when we go to move, what are we moving? We're moving the cat. What are we not moving? Everything around the cat. So this is a stupid easy bug, and I actually mentioned it before. Move the buffer, not the cat. So let's check this out again. So I come up here. Ah, much better. See, the whole shebang bang is moving for me. Um, so that's good. That's good right there. But why is the cat so darn low? Well, that might be a function of this big mess up here, right? So I have this grid, I have this other grid. Which grid am I dealing with? Well, let me take the cat instead of having it be up here where it was before. Let's move it down where it would be going. It's going to go between these two. Oh, so we have a whole nother row that's going on inside of here, right? So that should be in row 0. This should be in row 1. This should be in row 2 because I messed around with that and never put it back. So sometimes, yeah, there you go. So sometimes when you're refactoring, you need to be aware of the mess you're making along the way and clean it up right away. It's your practicing and stuff. We still have some other problems here, like why isn't the green going the whole spot? But again, we're solving them one at a time. Some of the problems, hey, they're not necessarily the end of the world right now, but some of them you probably should solve sooner rather than later. So let's just look really quick at the safe zone. It's saying fill both. It's packing here. I wonder, like, what is the reason for that? So, well, there's two attributes of pack. One is fill, and the fill is saying I'm going to fill the space. This component's going to fill the space that I'm given. But then there's another one out there called expand, and that's saying I want to expand as much space as possible. So when I say fill both, it goes up and down, left and right. When I say expand true, you can see there expands to the entire window. So another little tiny fact, but now you can see now my safe zone is all over the place. So much better. So let's say now I have my setup. I'm in good shape. I know how to move it down. I know how to find it. And now I want to extend it out to do all 4 directions. So one way to do that is I can take this and I can copy and paste it. And I can create this and change top buffer to bottom buffer. And I can change bottom buffer to left buffer, and then left buffer to right buffer. And I can do all those different moves. And that in general would work just fine. It just means that I'm taking all these lines of code. Um, so about 8 or 9 lines of code right there, and I'm copying and pasting a whole bunch of times. And I'm not necessarily done to everything that I want to do at this point. So I can, but it's actually not just these 8 lines of code because think about this for a second. Move. Move also is specific to each one of those 4 different directions. I have to have the 4 move methods inside of there. Move up, move down, move left, move right. And I can do that. It's not the end of the world. But I can also consider creating a component from that. So I could create an object that defines my buffer for me. Um, so let's think about that real quick. Class. Um, we'll call it a horizontal buffer. All right. And so a horizontal buffer, well, it's a frame. So what we did right here is we created, like we did right here, instead of creating a class that is the buffer, that has a buffer, we're creating a class that is a buffer. So we are now part of the buffer class. We have extended that buffer class out in a concept called inheritance that's beyond what we're talking about in the class, but it's important to see in this case because we are now a type of frame. And so inside of here, we can now define an init method. And for the init method, we need a self because you always need a self there. And we can decide, okay, well, I need a parent because I need to know, where am I going to fit in? And I'm either the top or the bottom. So how does the top vary from the bottom? Well, the top is what we just built here, where the warning comes above the above the warning is the top, and the movement is on the bottom. And the top also moves down where the bottom moves up. So we can just simply say top is equal to true and make our decisions from there if we want to. So let's see what we can do with that now. So we are a buffer here, so I actually need to pass this buffer along to the frame. There's a simple way to do that. Super, which means call the frame which I am a member of. It's my parent, if you will. Init of parent. Okay, so I'm going to pass that along. And then I'm going to say self.top is equal to top. So am I the top or not? So actually, I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to leave it that way. I'm not going to be super clever with it. I can be clever. We'll show you what that clever trick is later on. So I no longer need this buffer frame, but now I can give these a better name. Instead of calling it top buffer, I can call this the warning zone is equal to this canvas. And instead of top buffer, it's self. I'm part of this new object I'm creating. I'm going to leave my background orange. I'm going to leave the buffer the size it is. But there's my warning zone. And then I'm going to say the moving zone is equal to, oops, I think I deleted it, but it's fine. I can grab it right here. And this is going to be red. And then I'm going to need each of these. So now the warning zone and the moving zone are set up that way. All right. And the warning zone and the moving zone are set up that way. So how do I deal with moving up and down? So let me real quick just show you without anything more going on right here. Let's add in the top buffer is equal to horizontal buffer. So I just created the top buffer just like that, and top buffer dot grid row is equal to 0, column is equal to 1. So where we started there before, but now I have all the rest of that stuff wrapped up inside of there for me. Okay. Let's take a quick peek, see if it's still, oh, something broke. What did I do? 39 horizontal buffer, true is not, oh yes, I said true, capital T, true. That's Java-ism for me here. There you go. So you can see my warning cat still does my warning cat. My move still goes down. Cool. So now I can actually switch bottom buffer to say buffer false and put bottom buffer and I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. So we have to figure out what the false means here in a second, but you can see I have a warning zone here and I have a warning zone here, but I need to switch those. And again, I'm moving down on both those. But I am creating classes to reduce the amount of common code I have to copy and paste. So if top, and that. Else that. Right? That's the main difference right there. So now we have the warning zone appropriately done. Quick to lift statement. What about the motion? Again, move is set up here. Well, that is actually not too bad either, because my move can be bound in a couple different ways. So what I can do is I can take my move method right here, and I can move it inside of my class. And I'm going to change top, and this is where I was going to be clever here, and change this to be delta. How much am I going to move? And I'm going to change delta based off of the top or the bottom. So if I'm the top, I'm going to go up 1. If I'm the bottom, I'm going to go -1. And I'm going to do self. I don't know if I need the self here. I think I don't need it here. But I can define this method, and it can grab the data right here, and then move can still call it. So let's see if this works. I think this is what I want to do. Let's see if it works, and then we'll double check. So warning and moving down. Warning and moving up. It did work. How great is that? So what I did there was I created my function that does my event response inside of my function, which is the init, which then has access to self.delta, which I can then configure to go up or down, and then have my motion move accordingly. So again, I created all of that, but would be copied twice in a single little helper right here. Little tiny thing that I should worry about, and I'll take a look at this right now. So let's say this is new y right here. If new y is greater than, well, wait a minute, greater than what? Greater than the side of the whole window. So fortunately, I think I can get away with this because my class is inside of here. I think I can say window dot let's see, I remind myself. Yes, winfo. Oops, where are you? Winfo underscore height. New y is equal to 0. So if we go above the top of it, elif new y is less than or equal to 0. New y is equal to the height. All right, so let's see what happens here. Oh, forgot semicolon. Oh, new y. So I'm going to move down. Oh, shoot. I get down there and I stop, but I run out of space for my kitty to go. So new y is for everything. So easy thing to do. Minus buffer. Let's try that. There you go. So if I chase you all the way down, the kitty jumps up top and goes to sleep. And if I go up, oh, wait, where'd the kitty go? Oh, yeah, well, the kitty jumped to the Y position here. So I actually need to move it up higher than that. So I need to do this minus buffer dot w info underscore height. So I need to move it up minus that. So let's check that out now. So if I move down, key jumps up. If I move up, oh, oh, yeah. So there's a problem here because the window's so small. There you go. Kitty jumps up. So there's a couple things I want to take care of, but I can see I kind of now have my kitty running away. It's not perfect, but it's running away a little bit. All right. So we're closer. We're getting there. So let me give you a moment to catch up on this and get this part of it done, and then we'll kind of look at the last little bits and clean it up, and hopefully finish it up from there.